the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.
It's podcast. We're living on borrowed time. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
I'm pissed.
Oh gosh, I'm calling it this. You're editing this one, Charlotte. Now let loose.
Shouldn't you edit this one for me as like a gesture of pity?
All right then, I'm keeping track of swears. I'll do that.
So I just don't even know what to say to you guys. Like, you know what I did? I unplugged the USB cable that connects M-Track to my computer. This is information for Dave mostly.
Yeah.
And then plug that back in.
Yeah.
And it worked. So basically, to update you podcast listeners, my setup here was not working, and there was a lot of noise, like signal noise. It brings me right back to the lab on a day when you got a little noise, and we do some audio signals and electrical signals, and you just can't figure out why, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to come home to those problems too.
Yeah. Yeah. Although at home you can attack those problems in the company of alcohol, which is nice. As
I am. I have a beer. I'm drinking a Budweiser. I'm slowly drinking my way through my stock of Bud. I only have like 5 left.
Oh yeah. Now, Charlotte,
I had a whole crisper full, and now I have 5.
Welcome to the world of technical whatever. Like when you're like recording or when you're playing a show and stuff's not working, like, I mean, you always kind of approach it. You're just like, all right, now let's start down the chain and let's just see, what does this sound like? And someone will be like, sounds like a power issue. You'll be like, no, it's cable, it's grounding, whatever. And like what it always comes down to is you just unplug everything one thing at a time. And you just
plug it all back in.
You just plug it all back in. It's the worst.
I mean, we do that. That kind of stuff happens in the lab, too.
Totally.
And it's the same thing. We always tell prospective grad students, people are like, I'm not sure I'm smart enough. And like, honestly, if you can troubleshoot electrical and mechanical issues, that's 90% of your grad work right there.
Yeah. Did you try turning the computer off and then turning it back on again?
Literally, there's something that measures your lung volume that we use. And I would say 60% of the time, so you don't have it hooked up until the very end, right before we start the experiment, after like an hour of setup, or an hour and a half.
Okay.
And we put it on, and the program that we use, so similar to Audacity, if that makes sense to Dave, if that makes sense to any of you followers at home, we use that to record our podcast. So we use something called Lab Chart in the lab. And just Lab Chart is not reading that this one machine is working at all. It just reads a flat line. And so you stop Lab Chart, you save, you shut it down, and you start it back up. And invariably, it'll be working when you start it back up. Yeah. You've literally touched nothing.
Yeah.
This thing, it's called the spirometer. The thing that's not, you haven't touched anything that has anything to do with the spirometer. You haven't touched the mouthpiece itself that the person's breathing through. It's just Lab Chart just needed a timeout. And then you start it back up, and it's like, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
And it's not every time either. If it was every time, I would think it's something that we're doing wrong, but it's just sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, what the Oh, my God. Today was just one of those days, where... And I've had a whole week like that. Have you ever... I'm sure everyone has these days where you feel exhausted when you come home. And you know that you're on your feet all day. You know that everyone annoyed you. You know that everything went wrong. And you just worked through everything and you worked your butt off basically. And then you get home and you're like, what did I accomplish today? Other than not murdering everyone that I wanted to murder.
Sometimes that's all you can hope for, is the whole survival approach.
Yeah, I made it, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think, I think there was a time when I would have thought that I survived the day. I got through it. I would have thought that was a bit of a cop-out, but no. No, I don't think it is at all. Like, if you survive the day, especially if you don't have any, like, sort of meltdowns with tears and screaming and such, or, like, a huge frustration, or, like, if you survive without, like, yelling at somebody, or you got through, you made it home, you're holding a beer, you're talking to your brother, who's, let's face it, charming and witty and handsome.
Super sweet, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for the survival thing. It's like when I'm like low on money one month or whatever, I think, well, it still paid rent, so let's call this a win.
Yeah. And I got to work with my bud Sid for a lot of today, which was fun. She's fun to work with because she's just really chill and she just laughs at me when I freak out.
Oh, the great Canadian listeners know how cool Sid is.
Yeah. Do they? Wait, I don't think Sid was on the podcast.
Wasn't she?
I don't think so. I think we need to get her on, but she hasn't been on yet.
Who am I thinking of? Who was like your first friend that was on the podcast?
Erin, I think.
Oh. Erin. I was thinking of a girl with a boy's name, yeah. So that makes sense.
Actually, Sid invited me for her family's Thanksgiving today.
Really?
Yeah.
When do they celebrate Thanksgiving in Alberta, Charlotte?
It's the same weekend as in Ontario.
Get out of
There you
here.
go.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
same. That's the same. Labor Day, also the same.
Really?
Although Labor Day is a bit, I don't know if school's starting early or if Labor Day's late.
Labor Day is late.
But the 7th, that seems like a Labor Day kind of day. But I don't know about Western, but all the kids started back this week. They started back before Labor Day.
Huh.
What's the deal with that?
That is strange. The schools just weren't
Right?
putting up with Labor Day's crap this year, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Isn't it always after Labor Day? I feel like in all my years it's after Labor Day.
Yeah, I feel like that. Remember those school
Maybe
years where you got a late Christmas and you would get back to school like on January 18th or something ridiculous like that? Ah.
No, I don't remember that at all.
No? In college? Oh my god, that was the best. I
think that
swear
ever
to
happened.
speaking of that, like this is a myth, a legend rather, that I will carry with me to my grave. I'm keeping track of swears here so I can be all
Lazy when you're editing?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to take this to my grave. I swear there was a March break in public school that was 2 weeks long. And frankly, I'm quite aware that that's most likely incorrect. And that it just, everything feels longer when you're a kid. Remember how long summer felt? It's 2 months. And every school year felt like, it felt like a lifetime, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I swear to God, there was a March break one year that was 2 weeks long. And I remember telling someone that when I was like, 14 or something, that they were like, no, man, that's really stupid. It's never 2 weeks long. But
Maybe it was. Ask Mom. Mom will have it in her journal.
maybe it was around the time of the strike. Remember what's his face there? Mike Harris. How everyone hated him.
Mike Harris, yeah.
Yeah, and there were strikes and stuff like that. Yeah, that was it.
Could have been. Ask Mom. Mom will know. Should have had Mom on the podcast.
Get Mom
You
back
know
on
what
the
I was,
podcast.
I was listening because I was because I write the little blurbs that go beneath our podcast, so I have to listen to them. And Dave edited. By the way, you missed a couple curses in that pod, Dave, but I just left them in.
In the home pod?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you missed at least one S-bomb, and I don't know, I forget what the other one was.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was going to bleep it out, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
There you go.
Bill Burr curses up a storm on his podcast.
Yep, this is true. You guys might get a cursing podcast. I remember that was Natalie's suggestion. She wanted to hear a more adult podcast. I'm gonna have
Really?
to censor her last name though.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to have to bleep the crap out of this one.
Yeah.
Hey, I have an idea for a theme for this one. Let's just make it the angry podcast, because I'm feeling really pissy today. And I think we should just talk about all the things that make us really upset.
Okay.
Do people ever think that you're a really nice person, Dave? Because I don't really think people think that about me. I think every once in a while someone thinks that I'm really, really nice and that, like, I don't get angry, which is blatantly false. I think that the overarching opinion in our lab is that I'm generally funny, including my rage fits, and that on occasion I get a little bit scary, but you just have to kind of not be an idiot, and I won't be scary to you.
Okay. This you come from a long line of hilarious ranters. I'm picturing Aunt Nina and Mom in that category.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna be angry, may as well make it funny.
Yeah. I feel like it makes it more palatable for maybe not the people you're getting angry at. I feel like when you yell at people, even when you try to be funny, they don't really like it.
Here's the thing is I hate confrontation. Like, I hate actually fighting and arguing with people. Even if it was like growing up with Mom. I don't know if everyone knows this. Why I don't know why everyone would know this. I'm hoping you all don't know this. That I went through puberty the same time Mom went through menopause.
Gross!
It's not gross, David. It's just hormones. So, there was a lot of fighting. I remember it being daily fighting. Do you remember that at all, Dave?
No, not really.
You would have been pretty young.
I was young and isolated. I had a great time.
Poor Dad. Dad was just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I remember one time me and Mom just going at it in the kitchen and Dad walking down the hallway and us both turning to him to solve the fight and him just like walking away.
Yeah. He's a smart man.
This is a no-win situation here.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. But yeah, even then I never liked fighting. I find my heart rate races and I like to think things through in a very calm manner. And if I get upset with someone, invariably in a fight or flight, I want to flight. I want to flee.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not into it.
I want to flee and collect myself and come back prepared.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
And some people, I know one girl who told me not too long ago, and I was shocked, that she loves confrontation. Loves it. Like some people just live for it.
I could see it. Some people are sick, Charlotte. Sick. Yeah. I'm kidding. If you like confrontation, like whatever, that's cool. That's where you thrive.
If you like confrontation, could you drop us an email and explain it a little? Like, so if
I would also, I'd be very interested to
goes,
read that email.
Yeah, if someone says to you, "You're an idiot." Hey, David, you're an idiot. What does your body say? What happens?
Whenever I'm faced with confrontation, especially when people are being like outright rude or like trying to screw me or whatever, I shut down. I get like a sinking feeling, and I get very upset because I think, oh my god, like basically I think, oh, this person's mean. Like I think what a 5-year-old would think is just like, this person's mean. What the but like that's exactly how I feel. And then it's hard for me to function like well.
Yeah. Totally. Me too. I was recently trying to have a discussion with someone who was getting angry and frustrated, and I just shut the hell down. It was terrible. I just couldn't. And, you don't do it on purpose. It's just that you can't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, but I just can't think. My heart's just racing. I don't know what chemicals floating around my body, but it's nothing good.
Yeah.
And I just want, like, it's all I can do to keep myself sitting in the same position, not run out of the room.
Yeah. I'm there.
It brings me right back to getting bullied by my public school bullies.
Now, at the same time, I feel like I've got a fairly good stomach for like reasoned discussion, even when I'm like I'm wrong, like when I think the wrong thing, like if I were to say to everyone, let's do it, my thinking is let's do it this way, and then we'll do this afterward, and then we'll finish with this. And it really bugs me when people say, Dave, that's a really great idea, man. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but here's what I would do differently. I just think, why would I care if you have an opinion on how to do things differently or better?
Yeah.
Like, man, let's come up with the best solution right now. Like, let's figure out what's best. You don't have to preserve, like, I'm not married to any of my suggestions here,
Totally. I love that in a lab member, because as a postdoc, basically everyone else, and especially in our lab, we have our first PhD students starting, but they're all either master students or undergrads. The vast majority are undergrads. And when an undergrad will go, when I go, let's do this, then we'll do this, then we'll do this, and they go, wait a minute, Charlotte, but blah blah blah, and they point out something that I didn't think about. It makes me so happy because it proves that there's someone that's thinking.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not just listening to you and blindly following orders. They're listening to what you're saying and thinking about it.
Yeah.
That like makes me so happy I could cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like you come in the morning and instead of waiting for your instructions, they're like, well, I did this and this and this. I wasn't sure about this, but I thought you'd want me to do this, so I did this. You know, like,
love it.
Yeah. Yes, I could kiss you. I won't, because you really shouldn't be kissing your undergrads.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Proactivity. Yeah. I think we like the proactive here on the Great Canadian Podcast.
Yeah, and just like thought, thinking for yourself. This is, I think, the thing about people getting really angry. And I'm not to say I don't get angry, but to me, let's not engage with each other whilst angry, you know? Like,
yeah, that too. That's a big thing.
Get angry, take a deep breath, and like basically your emotion should have nothing to do with me. If I did it wrong, okay. You know, but like I try to only subject my close friends to my insanity when I like fly off the wagon, you know? Cuz they love me. They choose to be my friend. But people in my lab, you know, they're stuck with me no matter what. If you choose to be my friend outside of school and to interact with me more than you have to, that's super. I've got news for you. You're going to have to put up with my craziness. But the people in my lab shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm going to remove myself as much as I can.
I like it. And I think our listeners would agree. I don't know if you agree, Charlotte. And that is like, I don't think that's ever going to be an easy thing to do. Like, same comes when I'm like tired and I'm thinking horrible things, and I know, like I just say to myself, I'm tired, I'm not thinking straight, I just need to go to bed. But, like, it doesn't work. Like, I just think, but no, I want to solve this now, and I want to just be an idiot, and it takes a very concentrated effort to, when you're upset or when you're tired, to really just not act and to sleep on it.
Yeah. I think anytime, I was just talking about this with Mom, I hate when I know that I am angry because I'm tired, or that something's upsetting me because I'm tired, and I know, or at least I'm like 90% confident that if I was well rested, that this would not be bothering me at all.
Yeah.
But you still can't talk yourself down from being upset. Your body doesn't relax as soon as you realize that.
No.
I continue to be upset.
Yeah. Because our bodies are stupid.
Yeah, even if I know. I'm like, Charlotte, this is a non-issue. Do not have this conversation. And then I just can't help it.
These dumb old flesh bags that we live in. You gotta crack the whip. You gotta crack the brain whip.
Yeah, maybe. Gotta watch some Clone Wars and calm. Actually, I came home. I was having a really bad day. I had just a nightmare of a day. And came home and watched some Clone Wars and felt probably at least 50% better. It's nice.
Diggity, diggity, ding dong dig. Yesterday,
That's great.
Claire and I had just enjoyed a lovely dinner together.
Yeah.
And I had about an hour until I had a board game. I know I always say like I have a board game like it's like a thing, but like it is a thing.
It's a thing.
Totally a thing. And we watched first couple episodes of That 70s Show. Oh my God. If we're talking about what makes us angry today, let's include the opposite of what makes us angry, and that is That 70s Show, especially the first season. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, I should watch that again.
It does not get any better. Red Foreman. Kitty Foreman.
Red.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good show. I liked Eric.
Beb Pinciati. Eric. Yeah, Topher Grace really nailed it.
Yeah, whatever happened to Topher Grace?
I think he went a little crazy. I don't know. If Topher's listening, I don't know what happened to you, man. I hope everything's okay.
Listening. I'm going to Wikipedia him. So anyway, so what were you saying? Like, is that where you're going with that story, that you and Claire watched an episode of That 70s Show?
I think that came to me from Clone Wars and just how it makes me happy. Yeah. Why don't we bring our little lady out, and then we can continue with Angry Monday.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
Monday. Hey, you know where I'm going after Monday?
What's that?
You know where I'm going the day after Monday?
Where?
I'm going to Missouri, and then to Texas, and then to Kansas, and then Tennessee.
Holy cow. Look at you.
Taking a little trip across the U.S. of A.
Heading down south.
Heading down south. I really like going down south.
Yeah.
Because, like, here's another dumb flesh bag thing. Like, I mean, I still have been to the South few enough times that whenever I go down there, I expect it to be just a bunch of rednecks and guys with hats and guns. And so the fact that it's not whenever I go down there, and I'm still surprised by it because I'm a biased idiot, that makes it all the more pleasant. And I'm just like, hey, this place is really nice, and these people are really nice, and this is so I mean, the whole bias thing aside, 'cause that's just a part of it in my dumbness. I've always had a really good time. We went to Austin like 2 years ago, and that was really cool. The bars were great, and they had great music and great food and all that stuff. And
Austin's supposed to be amazing. It's just supposed to be one of those cities.
It's super duper cool. Their slogan is "Keep Austin Weird."
Wow,
I know,
that's a
right?
sweet slogan.
Yeah.
I like that.
And when we were down in Nashville too last year, everyone was super duper nice. So yeah.
Okay, we're really failing at the Rage podcast here because we're just
sorry, I mellowed it out.
No, it's okay. But I will actually. This will help out. What I did notice about America is that in my conferences down there, I would say like what I really notice in terms of people who aren't nice is in restaurants, like fast food restaurants, especially, and like waitresses and stuff, that those people don't smile. Or like when you're at the grocery store buying groceries, I just find that, and maybe I think like in the States, I don't know if it's worse. I feel like the wage gap is a lot worse between people who are doing those jobs, working, kind of getting minimum wage and that sort of thing. Yeah. So maybe they don't have anything to smile about, whereas in Canada, at least we have, healthcare and stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah, when that's my favorite thing is when you go to the border in the States, everyone's all grumpy with you, and you cross the border in Canada, and they're like, hello, and like you go to Tim Hortons, and they're all so happy and smiling with you, and you go, I'm home.
Yep.
I'm home.
Yep.
Hi, Canada, I missed you.
The saying is...
I don't find it's the average Joe. It's the people that are working in these labor jobs that are just not happy.
Whenever we come back across the border in Canada, the saying is, you a beauty, bud? Because whenever we come back, it's always some guy. Where you going? London, Ontario. Where you coming from? Such and such. Played a couple of shows. You're in a band? Yeah. What kind of band is it? It's a tribute band, sir. Oh. Rock on, guys. And I just feel like the next question is, you guys a bunch of beauties or what? Yeah. Get in here.
That's great.
Get into this country.
Yeah. I mean, Canada. Come on.
Love coming back to Canada.
Speaking of your sweet band, by the way, I don't know if you saw on Facebook, but I just discovered Kat's extreme keyboarding video.
This is a different band we're talking about, by the way, just so our listeners know.
I just can't even with that video. I've honestly watched it probably 20 times in the past 2 days. Every time I get a little bit upset, I watch it, and it cheers me right up.
Nice. Dina really nailed it, eh?
Yeah. Did Dina make that?
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't. Dean, oh my God, of course he made it. It's so good. It's so good. Can you guys do more of that, please? Yeah,
I mean, like we're all planning on shooting a video next month or like this month. So I assume the follow-up will be coming soon.
I showed it to Sydney, and she's like, this is really, really smart. She's like, I mean, it's really dumb, and that's what makes it so smart. She was all about it. All right.
I'm going to think about that compliment, but I'm going to take it in the intention in which it was given.
Like, it could be a viral thing. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, you don't have to love the music or the people to think it's absolutely ridiculous and funny.
All right.
But then as you listen to the music, and if you know the people, you know that both are fantastic.
Yeah.
So it appeals to all denominators, you know?
Yeah. All right. I'm glad it, I'm just smiling to hear you speak so highly of it. This is the Angry
Yeah,
Podcast?
honestly.
It doesn't feel like the Angry Podcast. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's maybe it's not. Maybe this is going to be the happy podcast. I just feel like I'm in a pissy mood today.
Hey, just before we move on, while we're on the subject,
Yeah.
great Canadian listeners, there is a chance that Cats the Band will be coming to a town near you in
Ooh.
2 months' time. I won't give up any dates yet because we're still waiting for stuff to come through and get confirmed and all that jazz. But definitely doing some shows early November, and you just might be able to come catch a Cats. So
Early November, eh? You're
Early
not
November.
starting in Edmonton, are you?
no, we don't have any of that Edmonton money yet, unfortunately.
Well, that or the greater New York area would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Post December 1st.
Yeah.
I can put in a request for that.
You know what? The funny thing is that's probably cheaper and will happen sooner,
Perfect.
to be honest with you. So
You know what? I was just looking at apartments today because I was having a bad day, and maybe I'll look at apartments. That'll cheer me up. So with just a very cursory look, I found 2-bedroom apartments close to campus for less than what I'm paying for rent here.
whoa!
Yeah.
Wait, but that's American dollars.
American dollars, but I make the exact same there in American as I do here.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I make like slightly less. I don't know how the taxing's going to work, but
Ah.
I should actually drop by H&R Block and ask them that. So.
Yeah, I have no idea what the difference would be. But I was just about to say, Charlotte's getting a bit of a raise. Unless the dollar goes down. Let's hope for your sake that the dollar doesn't go down.
Yeah. Well, what someone was telling me is you should just start a savings account and dump into it whenever the dollar is low, I guess. High? You know what I mean. Different. And also my line of credit is in Canadian dollars, so I'll be able to pay off a lot more of it with these American dollars.
That's a good idea.
You know?
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, so I'm hoping to not, because I pay a lot in rent right now, so I'm hoping to not have to do that. But I think I do have to get a 2-bedroom apartment so that all you guys, including the great Canadian listeners, can come visit me at my house and stay in my apartment without driving me crazy.
Charlotte, I got to tell you, this great Canadian co-host would really appreciate it. And if you could put Cats up for our big tour down there, that would be really cool
Yeah.
too.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
You guys can all come stay.
Nice.
I still haven't met Hubert, which makes me really upset.
Because he just seems like such a fun guy from Extreme
He does.
Keyboarding.
And I had seen you do Hubert impressions before. They always sound hilarious.
Charlotte, we don't have any
And then-
Hubert impressions. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no Hubert impressions, none. But then I saw him on the video too, and he just seems like a beauty.
He's a great guy.
I
Great,
just really want to meet him.
great keyboard player.
Possibly my favorite part of that video was when he has his reaction to one of your like stalls on the sidewalk, and they replay it in slow-mo 3 times. Was that his honest to God reaction, or was he trying to be funny when he did that? It seems genuine. It seems like a genuine reaction.
I think it was genuine. I think he's just a nice guy. He was expecting very, very little from me, and he got slightly more than very little, so he was happy.
Honestly, he just seems sweet. And at one point, you do one of your moves, and then he goes, "There's nobody like him." I love that. That's such a great comment.
Yeah, that's classic
honestly,
Dean
guys,
editing.
if you haven't seen this video, I'll link it. You just have to watch it because it's so funny.
It's Cats Extreme Keyboarding. And then mosey on over to our website and check out our theme song.
They have a theme song.
Because why wouldn't we have a theme song?
Yeah. So, Dave, tell me, how do you want to go Ragecast? What, have we talked about this? What's the number one thing that could piss you off? You could go from 0 to 60 pretty fast.
Oh,
Something
gosh.
that someone might do. Like a habit, you know? Something that someone might do. Because I can give you mine right off the top of my head.
You go and I'll think of mine while you're going.
Okay, and I have one for you too. I don't know if we've talked about this. Sorry for repeating content. For me, someone chewing loudly, anything.
Yes.
If I can hear you chewing, in general, you're in trouble. But apples are just a catastrophe waiting to happen. almost anything crunchy. If you eat crunchy food loudly with your mouth open, you are playing with fire. Like, that's bad. I don't even know what to say to you. Like, you're going to get punched in the face, basically.
Yep.
I hate it. Oh, I think we talked about this because we looked up the fear of sounds or whatever it was called. Misophobia, I think it was called.
Oh,
Misophobia?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And how I hate the sound of people chewing. Someone actually I think Paige sent me a picture the other day of like, your chewing makes me want to punch you in the face. That's good.
I always notice that every time that we hang out, and I keep gum in the car. How do we feel about keeping gum in the car? I feel like gum in the car is a winner. If I had a purse, I'd keep it in my purse.
Yeah, I like having, but I can't keep it in my purse because I just eat it like crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't hold back.
Yeah.
And that's not good for your jaw. A dental hygienist told me that one.
Totes. Yeah. So yeah, I always notice every time we hang out and I'm driving you someplace and I chew gum and I chew with my mouth open and you comment. And I always forget that I chew gum with my mouth open. I'm a little ashamed of it. I wish I didn't.
Every time someone's doing it, I try to make it as long as I can before snapping. And if it's, unfortunately, like I said, if you're close to me, I'll snap earlier and I'll tell you. If you're one of my office mates, I don't feel like I have a right because we share an office. I shouldn't enforce my craziness on you. I either try to block it out using headphones.
Yep.
Or I just leave the room. And usually that's what I do. The other day, a girl started chewing, I don't know what, like a nectarine behind me, but it was super moist. So she's like sucking up all this juice out of it. And she's talking and doing one of these things to me. And I was just losing it. Ugh. But I could feel, for me, this comes back to the not liking confrontation. I have a point at which I know that what I want to say is not going to come out nicely anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I have a point where I can go, listen, let's call her, I don't know, let's give her a fake name like Juliet. Her name is not Juliet.
Juliet.
Listen, hey, Juliet, is there any way that you could maybe, eat that nectarine elsewhere? Or like, that it's not nice, but at least it's not horrid.
Yeah,
There
I feel like
a point where if it comes out, it's gonna come out like, I swear to God, I'm gonna stuff that nectarine so far up your get the hell out of my face. And like, obviously, you can't say that to someone working in a lab. So then, once I know it's gonna come out like that, I just can't say anything, and I have to just get up and leave the room.
I want to see a collage, like a video collage of you just leaving rooms. And then someone who gets onto it, and it's like, check it out. I'll watch. I'll make sure I'll leave.
Yeah. Start a countdown.
And there she goes.
I did. So
You'll never be able to go anywhere again.
I watched an awful Hugh Grant movie recently with Marissa Tomei. I forget what it was called.
You said it was an awful?
The Rewrite. Yeah, it was on Netflix, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I wonder why. Hugh Grant, Marissa Tomei, that's a good team. But after the end of the movie, I was like, oh, that's why. And actually, the movie itself was not horrible. It was okay. But then at the end of the movie, it's like somebody forgot to tape the last half hour of it.
Huh.
Like they were just like, well, this is good enough. Let's just end it here. They just got tired. And we're like, it's fine. So anyway, so I don't recommend it. But one of the funny things is the one, I feel like we were talking about this guy the other day. Who's the dad from Juno? Were we talking about him the other day?
Yeah, J.K. Simmons.
He's in that movie, and he's a delight, no matter what he's in.
Yeah, I feel like he would
and
be.
So Hugh Grant's like a prof at a university, and this J.K. Simmons is also a prof, and he's got kids, and at one point he has to go home to his kids, and he was like, oh, I really pity him, and this other guy's like, no, are you kidding me? Like, he's literally the happiest man in the world. Whenever you get him to talk about his family, he starts crying, and the record is like 20 seconds, so the recurring joke throughout the movie is whenever anyone brings up the family, he starts crying, like, shortly thereafter, and
this is J.K. Simmons starts crying.
Yeah, because he just loves his family so much, he just tears up.
That sounds amazing.
Whenever they bring it up, someone kind of looks at their watch surreptitiously and times how long it takes him to start crying. Anyway, so there you go. That's a fun game if you Great Canadian listeners are brave and you want to see whether I'm going to walk away or lose it on you. Just start chewing loudly and obnoxiously around me and time how long it takes.
Yep.
Me to lose it. I bet you it's not going to be very long.
Gosh, I'm really dropping the ball here. Okay, I've expressed to you guys before how a good way to piss me off is when you're driving and like you turn right into the lane that you shouldn't be turning into. That's instant anger for Dave. And will usually result in just like oh, look at this schmo hog, because it doesn't really bother me. But it bothers me in the sense that everything could be so much better for right now if it wasn't for people like you. Like, we could all just be getting everywhere so much faster.
Yeah. Here's more things. You hate it when utensils scrape on plates.
I do. And I'm not so crazy about people biting their utensils when they eat either, but I realize that it's just a thing people do and they don't think about and whatever, so I'm used to it.
You also hate when people talk about how you're the youngest and how you get things handed to you or you get off easy because you're the youngest.
Yeah, I guess I do. Which is that's a very typical youngest thing to hate, isn't it?
Yeah. And you go 10 out of 10 every time. I get, watching you react to that, I get a little bit why people like pushing my buttons, because you're very reliable and that upsets you every single time.
Oh my God.
It is. It really does. Even if we're just joking, you get pissed.
Yeah. I could see it. I'm getting a little pissed off right now. To be honest.
I was going to say, Great Canadian listeners, watch this. So Dave, he's the youngest. So Jasper had to buy his own car. I had to buy my own car. Dave got...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's do this.
Here it is. See? I actually don't even care about it. Because honestly, Mom and Dad basically paid for my car. But you get pissed every time. Very predictable.
All right, I got one. And I apologize, Charlotte. Maybe you can help me make this one relatable. Because I feel like it's too specific in my head to come up with like an analogy for it. But like, here's what I hate. And I'll describe like a phenomenon in the music world that I find, again, it's just a big time waster. We were talking earlier about people saying, oh, your ideas are great, but I want to suggest an idea. Just say your idea. Like, really, like, it's not going to bother me. We're trying to come up with the best solution here, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just writing down that I said a bad word. All right. So, what is a really good way to bother me when I'm talking about music? Okay, so first, the thing I want to describe. There's musicians who've received training, and people tend to call it classical training, which I guess usually it is when you're taking like conservatory books and whatever, right? And Charlotte, you did classical piano, right?
Yeah, I'm a classically trained pianist.
You're a classically trained pianist. And then there's the self-taught crowd, of which I am a member, right? And like, I feel like not across the board, but you tend to see, you know, guys who really wave the self-taught flag a little harder than is really necessary. You know, they just love saying things like, I don't know a minor 7 chord from an augmented 6, but I know how to play the guitar. And you're just like, dude, you're bragging about things you don't know about, and who cares? Who cares that you don't know like, I feel like they're saying that makes their claim, that makes it more impressive that they learn to play the guitar, that they don't know what they're doing. When
or they're trying to lower expectations so they can seem more spectacular.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like they're just trying to think, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, so but look at what I learned to do by knowing nothing, you know? And I just think it's just a waste of time. Like classically trained people, you measure their skill based on how well they play. I'm sure there's some theory people out there who disagree and say, like, you know, there's theory and composition is a big part of it. But we're talking about playing for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. And so I find that I know, like, a little bit of music theory. The thing, I think it might appear as if I know more than I do. I'm not trying to humble brag here. But just because music theory makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like it's a set of tools with which you can build and kind of describe your knowledge, which is something that I've kind of craved the whole time I've learned music. Like I played guitar for 8 years, and then when I took some theory lessons 8 years later, and I learned that this scale that looks like this and sounds like this is actually called a Dorian scale, let's say. That just to me was just like, cool. So Dorian sounds like what this looks like. Now I was able to put them together, right? So I like how theory kind of puts a label on stuff like that. So anyways, I tend to be anal about my theory, and just when I give a chord or when I give a scale, I'm usually right because I've thought about it, right? So what pisses me off, sorry for all that, I was kind of rambling a little bit. What pisses me off is when you're asking people for chords, and they clearly have no idea, and they just start spitballing. They just say, okay, because they want to look like they know what they're doing, right? So they'll be like, okay, so this is a G and then a C, and like they're talking to you, they're looking at you, but their hands are doing something different. So you can tell they're just trying to say it and make their hand motions at the same time, but they haven't thought this through. They're not prepared. They haven't done this before, and you just want to say, like, dude, like, don't give me chord names if you don't know. Like, if you don't know, just show me how you play it, and I'll take it from there. Or just take your time, think about it. Come back to me when you know the chords. Don't waste my f***ing time by just trying to figure it out right on the spot so you can seem impressive. Oh my god.
You know what?
It kills me.
I think there two kinds of people drive me crazy, and I feel bad because I'm leaving you a very narrow range, which is exactly what I want. The people that... So anytime you don't know what to do, which, let's be honest, happens to all of us quite a bit, when you don't know what to do, the people that either A, just charge on ahead and are like, well, okay, let's just see what happens here, which I think you're describing. Like, they don't ask. They're not like, wait a minute, I'm not sure if this is the right one. Is this the right one? Or they're just like, how about this?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
yeah.
And, like, people do that all the time at school. Like, they don't want to admit they don't know, so they'll just do something.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And then you find out either 5 minutes down the line or 5 years down the line, and you go, well, why the hell would you have done it like that? Like, you screwed... Because if you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, you don't even know what you're screwing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in the research world, you might have made a whole data set useless.
Yeah.
You know?
And I was just going to say that comes back to just the thing that really angers me is you're wasting time. Now
you're wasting time
to fix that problem, yeah.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, the people that just freeze up. And I, again, realize it's kind of unfair because I'm telling you don't steamroll ahead, but also don't freeze up. The people that, if you came back to them a month later and went, so how'd that go? And they went, well, I didn't know how to do this, so I just stopped. And you go, wait, what? So what have you been doing? And then they get all defensive, like, well, I didn't know how to do this, and then I didn't know, and you're like, okay, but and then what? Like, literally, what have you been doing with your day? Like, what have you been doing? Here's what I think. A, if you don't know and someone around you is there, like, just ask.
Yeah.
B, if the person that knows isn't readily accessible or is busy doing anything else, try to figure it out. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
That's what drives me crazy, and I hope to never have a grad student like this one day. The people that don't try to think for themselves and figure it out on their own, you know?
Yeah.
I hate it when they either assume that they know and they just go crazy, or if they just assume that it's unsolvable. Like people that come to you and just go, well, I had someone come to me the other day and go, this value's weird. I don't know why. And I was like, okay, well, how are you calculating that? And they're calculating variable C, which is equal to A times B. So I go, how are you calculating C? Because there's a lot of different ways to calculate C. They go, I don't know. I got it in an Excel sheet from this other person. I'm like, okay, well, that's not an answer. How does their Excel sheet calculate it? Well, they take A column. This is what they said to me. They take A column and they multiply it by B column. I'm like, okay. But how do they calculate B column? Because there's lots of different ways to calculate. think that's a product of these other two columns. Okay, what's in those other two
But they don't know,
columns?
right? They think it's a product of these. But yeah, they're getting to the root of they've done
But they
nothing.
and it came down to finally B came out of a file, and I said, how did you extract that from the file? And they literally had not thought about any step along the way. This is not rocket science, what I was saying to the person. I was like, just trace it back.
Right.
And at every step of the way, it was, well, I don't know. I was
Just-
like, okay, well, look at this. It's right. The answer's right there. And they just hadn't thought. They hadn't thought.
Charlotte, this is a heck of a bookend, eh? Because we were just talking at the start of the podcast, unplug everything along the chain when experiencing mechanical difficulties, plug it back in to see where your problem is.
Yeah.
How's that for podcasting? I feel like we win.
You even went on the M-Track website and looked up, like, what could be wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, you don't know. Look it up. Try to figure it out.
Yeah. I would like to add the caveat, in case people think we're getting a little too high and mighty here. I don't think we are, but just to keep it real here, I do get being a little intimidated by someone's knowledge. Like, I mean, if I were, if I were wondering what a guitar chord was and I was hanging out with a really, like, serious player, and I knew that I could figure it out on my own time and it wasn't time sensitive sort of thing. Like, I might just cool out with this guy and have him think I know what I'm doing and then go home and look up the question I wanted to ask him.
There's times at which it's harmless to just nod along.
I've
even had that. I remember it always used to happen with Kevin, my old supervisor, where he was explaining things to me, and I was acknowledging in my head that my brain was too full and I was no longer retaining information.
Yeah.
But he only had so much time, so I would kind of like nod along through certain parts that I realized I could figure out myself after this.
Yeah.
You know? But then there would also be times where I'd finally look at him and I would just go, Kevin, I'm sorry, but I think my brain's shut down for the day. And he'd just kind of laugh and go, okay. But yeah, I agree. There's a time and a place where you can kind of nod along, but there's also time and place for action. And if they just go, and then go do something else. I've had people where I go in the lab, can you go do manual blood pressures on this patient? And I didn't know this person didn't know how to do manual blood pressures. And they said to me, yep.
Oh, jeez.
And then they turned around to the person behind them and went, hey, can you go do blood pressures? And that person was like, no, I'm busy. I can't. And I walked into the lab like 10 minutes later and they were just sitting there.
Oh, no.
It's just like, so you haven't done anything. No.
So what'd you do? Show them how to do it? Did they admit it, or did you have to squeeze it out of them?
No, I didn't even follow up. I just grabbed the swing manometer and did them myself.
There you go. Let's bring our. I got one quote that I kind of want to bring in. So we can bring our lady out and.
Yeah, and actually, while the lady's out, I'm gonna go grab my second beer of the podcast because I need it.
Okay, and I just want to say one more thing before we get the lady. Is one of my favorite quotes that's kind of bookending my whole thing that makes me angry is that, a lot of people like to argue, like, to get their point across or whatever, and there's a time and place for that. But Larry David said they just want your time. They want to bother you with and take your time when they're arguing you don't care about. And that always stuck with me. That just people, they want your time. And it really upsets me when people try and take my time by trying to preserve my feelings or trying to act as if they know what's going on when all they could say is, I don't know what's going on. Can we all get on the same page here, please? So thank you, Larry, for...
Larry.
Yeah. I know I kind of butchered the quote, but yeah. Why don't we bring our lady out?
Beer time.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
While Charlotte's getting a beer, you can probably hear the fridge door. Oh, there we go. I'm going to look up this quote because I want to have the actual verbatim. Here we go. We got it. We got, thieves just want your things. Oh my gosh. And now I'm ruining it again. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Here he goes. I'd rather have the thieves than the neighbors. The thieves don't impose. Thieves just want your things. Neighbors want your time. I'd rather give them things than time.
That's great.
Oh, I love it.
Time and mental and emotional energy. That's what's priceless to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's some people who I feel like just stick a straw right into your gut and just suck your energy right out of you. You know?
Yeah.
And then they live there. They live inside of you. I remember Mom talking to me one time about someone, and this was way back in the day, and I was really upset about something they had said or done or something, and Mom went, yeah, but Charlotte, they're at home right now, and I guarantee you they are not thinking about you right now. And look at you. You're still all upset about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you letting them do this to you? They're living their lives. They're not thinking twice about you. And all you're doing is thinking about them.
Yeah. You gotta put up that wall, like you're saying.
You gotta shake it off. Shake it off.
Now I'm just on a
Tay,
page
Tay.
full of Larry quotes. This is amazing.
Yeah, don't get too distracted. All right, you know what? I think we've been living in hate land too long. It was really only for about a third of the podcast, but let's get back onto positive. I know it was me that started the hate cast, but let's go on to something happy. What are the things that will just make your day? You got the things that'll just send you into a blind rage, no matter what. What is something that someone can do or say that'll just make you beyond happy? I'll tell you what one of mine is.
I should have one for this too. Yeah, you go. You go.
Bring me food.
No.
One time, my undergrad, Eric, he had heated up hot dogs for lunch. And I was like, oh my God, that smells amazing. I want a hot dog now. And he was like, I'll bring you one next time. And he makes amazing hot dogs. He doesn't just like make hot dogs. He always puts something, like he put chips on it one time for crunch.
Yep. That's a move.
He
Is
made
a
like
move.
a pizza one once. Like, I don't know. Eric just crushes his hot dog game is strong. So he said like, I'll bring you a hot dog. And we were kind of joking around. He's like, I'll bring you a hot dog next time. And I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And literally the next day I came in and there was a Tupperware container, like a nice Tupperware container with my name on top on a Post-it.
Wow.
And he brought me a hot dog.
This guy wins.
Right?
That's a move. That's a definite move.
Just like the nicest kid on the planet.
Yeah.
And I was just so thrilled. I Instagram. Well, yeah. There's an Instagram, but there's like a bite left of it because I was eating. I was so excited and so hungry. And then Marina was like, you have to Instagram it. So she like forcibly stopped me from eating it. So I had to Instagram it.
Smart lady.
But yeah, if you bring me food, you know, or if someone goes to Subway, for instance, Subway's got pretty good cookies. And they went to Subway and then they came back and they have cookies and they go, and here, Charlotte, I got you one. And
Yeah.
your favorite's the white chocolate macadamia. That kind of stuff warms my heart because, like, you thought about me, you know?
Yeah.
You thought about me at a time when you did not have to think about me.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm there.
And food makes me happy. Food's in my top 3 things of things that just make me happy. So
What are the other two? We'll get there?
yeah, I don't have like a solid list. I just know that food's in there. You know what I mean?
All right. Things that make me happy.
What just like tickles you pink?
Yeah.
I like a really funny, unexpected funny comment too.
Yeah.
The one day I was really mad at a girl in my lab because, long story short, paper clips are at a premium in our lab. We never have a box of paper clips. We did once and it was the best. And like they just seem to disappear. So we never have paper clips. And I always need to paper clip things together because I paper clip these packages together. And I print many at a time. Anyway, so everyone knows how I feel about paper clips. And when we're really short on paper clips, I have to go steal them from an office down the hall. And I hate doing it because I'm always so nervous I'm going to get caught.
Yeah.
So I came in a few days, maybe it was like once a week in a row though. And there were paper clips bent out of shape into an M. And these paper clips had just been mangled. And clearly someone had just been fiddling with the paper clip.
Oh, no.
And I, the one day, demanded to know who had done it. And one of the girls in the lab, who was a big sweetheart, was like, Charlotte, I know who it is. And as such, I don't feel like I can tell you because I don't want to, like, turn traitor on this person. I said, okay, here's the deal. If you see this person doing it one more time, you tell them that I am pissed. And if they do it again, that you're telling me that they did it.
All right.
She went, okay, all right, deal. That's fair. So it happened. And the one day I came in, I saw it, and I was like, did you see this happen? And this person said, I did. And they ratted this person out. They sang like a bird. Actually, I think I can say it was Brittany. It was Brittany. Brittany was doing this paperclip stuff.
They
So
sang like a bird. That's a canary. You got to say they sang like a canary.
finally, I confront Brittany about it, and I'm like, Brittany, the paper clips. She's like, I know. I'm so sorry. Honestly, though, I haven't done it I haven't done it in months. I haven't done it in months. I haven't done it in, I mean, at least 2 weeks. And the hilarious panic in her eyes combined with, I haven't done it in months. Honestly, it's been at least 2 weeks that she like downgraded so fast and so hard. I just burst out laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. And that's, there you go. Just like a rant. I was so mad. Well, I wasn't actually mad, but
Yeah.
I was going to tear her a new one, somewhat hilariously, but also with like, stop destroying these paper clips that I've stolen. And she just made me die laughing. If you can make me die laughing while I'm angry, you've made my day.
Yeah.
If you brought me from rage to laughter, that's perfect.
Totally.
I thank you.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like a little bit of a jerk because I feel like my two things are kind of selfish. Here, I'll run them past you and we'll see what's going on here. Okay, my first thing that makes me really happy is breakfast at my house. Mm-hmm. When I'm eating breakfast at home and I have time to make it, because what I do is I go downstairs before I do anything. I go right downstairs and I put the coffee on. And then I come up and I make my bed. I throw some clothes on. I like open the windows and get all kind of whatever. And then I come back down and the coffee's ready to go. Right? And then
Perfect.
I cut up a piece of fruit while the toast is toasting. Then I got my fruit cut up, toast out of the toaster oven, put peanut butter on it while the toast is still warm. That's key. Mm-hmm. And then I sit and I eat my breakfast, and I usually read. Sometimes I'll like watch something while I'm eating breakfast, but like I feel like I've just got that meal down for me, and it is just me calibrating for the day, and I love it, and I get really, really upset when I don't have those three elements in my breakfast. Like if we're on the road or something and the breakfast is all kind of salty, I'm just kind of like, oh, you know what I would just love right now. So that's kind of a selfish one.
What if you're in a hotel? This is what makes me happy. And they have a buffet breakfast with one of those giant platters of bacon.
Yeah.
That overrides everything else, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. If I have access to that breakfast is going in me.
If I have access to that, if I'm at a, sorry to interrupt, but hotel buffet breakfast, my plate consists of the following. Well, first of all, I have a coffee.
Yep.
Probably 3 coffees by the time I'm done. I just keep on going back up.
Of course.
As much bacon as I can handle, and whatever hash brown offering is there.
Ah.
I'm happy with different hash browns make me different amount of happy, but that's what I want ideally in a breakfast.
All right. See, I would swap out your hash browns for scrambled eggs.
No, I don't like scrambled eggs. I think scrambled eggs, if I were to rank all the eggs, scrambled eggs are probably at the bottom.
I think you've told me this, yeah.
Like, number one, you know what? Number one, I'm going to go over easy. Because there's a little bit, usually, if they do it nicely, of crisp around the outside, you know?
Yeah.
The egg white has gotten a little crisp, and then you've got the runny yolk. The runny yolk, to me, is clutch. So let's go over easy. I like poached, because I never do it myself, and there's something of the exotic about it.
No.
So that'll go number 2. I'm going to lump Sunny Side Up in with over easy, because those are kind of the same to me.
Sunny Side Up is so gross.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, if they do it... Anyway, let's not go there.
Yeah.
So, what's even left? I guess, like, hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled,
would have to be next. Like, deviled. Let's lump deviled in with hard-boiled. It's all cold.
Yeah.
You know, like egg and a Cobb salad, fine. And yeah, scrambled eggs, definitely down there for me.
What about, like, over hard? Like, you know, you just flip that egg and cook it.
Yeah, over hard to me is the same as a hard-boiled egg. What's the difference to anyone else?
Well, I mean, you can put an over hard on toast. some salt and pepper up on that bad boy. I like a good over hard.
No. Over hard is always an accident if I do it like that.
Oh man, no, your dismissal hurts me so much. Over hard on like a piece of toast with butter and some salt and pepper. Woo!
I only do it if and when I break the yolk when I'm flipping it over. And that's just because I can't bring myself to throw it in the garbage. I would throw it in the garbage if I could. But I can't. Because I have some respect for the process this egg has gone through to make it to my fridge.
That's good. Okay, and
that's the only thing that holds me back.
The second thing that makes me really happy, because we got to wrap up here. We got to get our great Canadian.
I know, but I also want to get your egg ranking at some point.
I can do an egg rundown real quick. Okay, I will go over easy at the top because that's just the ultimate breakfast dining egg experience. Like you can dip your toast in the runny yolk and it's just wonderful. Scrambled, I'll put that second because I just find that they're reliable. It's really hard to screw up scrambled eggs. If you go anywhere and ask for scrambled eggs, you pretty much know what you're getting. That's what I like about them.
Hard. They're always hard and rubbery at the buffet. I have probably less than 5 times in my life had nice, moist, runny eggs. Like, not salmonella moist, but like, or whatever you get from raw eggs. But like,
right.
Eggs that are still a little bit moist, those are okay. They're still at the bottom of my list, though. But like, I think you can scrambled eggs if you cook them to oblivion.
I don't think I mind them rubbery, because once you get past the rubbery outside, you get to the soft.
And you got to put all kinds of herbs in them, and you're still at the bottom of my list. It's still down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's all right. So scrambled, and then I'd probably go over hard, and then the last item on my list is the important one. Then I don't know. I don't really eat poached eggs. Hard boiled. I ain't got no time for hard boiled eggs. Plus, I feel like they give you gas. And at the bottom of the list is sunny side up because the idea of a runny egg white to me is just vomit worthy, like a vomit.
No, but you're cooking it so that the egg white is not runny.
The only sunny side up I've had is the egg white's been runny.
I don't think runny is what you're going for. I think it's supposed to be cooked through still.
Maybe I've just had a bad experience.
I think that's what gets you. Yeah, maybe you just had a bad one.
The second thing that makes me happy, and I'm sorry if this seems a little like I don't want to seem like a goober when I say this, but I'm being genuine. This really does make me happy. When I'm reading a book or when I'm when I'm watching something and someone just chooses the perfect word to describe something. And especially if I don't, not especially, I guess, usually it's a word I know and I'll be like, oh my God, yes. But if it's a word I don't know, the example that comes to mind, again, we're mining the Larry David mine here, is when he's asking about someone that he'd seen at a funeral or something like that who wasn't supposed to be there. I forget what the context necessarily was. But he's asking a strange person. He's like, have you seen this guy who would have been hanging around wearing black, someone looking overly lugubrious? And when I watched, I was like, what does lugubrious mean? And I was so excited because I knew it meant, something pertaining to what he was talking about. And I was about to find out.
Yeah.
And lugubrious, this is a word that exists. It means, I might have talked about it on the pod before, actually, because I love this word.
I don't think so.
No? Lugubrious is one who makes a show or affects sorrow or mourning. One who makes a show of or affects sorrow or mourning. So,
I like it.
Who needed that? Who needed that word? And
Why is that a word?
The fact that we had a need for that word makes me laugh. Because I just think of the first person who saw someone else, basically faking being sad or making a big show of it, and they were like, you're not sad. Oh, you're such a cheap, you're such a phony piece of shit. I know what's going on there. I'm going to make a word for you, and then I'm going to call you this word, and the word is going to be hilarious, and the word will be lugubrious.
What I will say about lugubrious is I feel like it doesn't automatically imply what it means. There's no onomatopoeia going on there,
Yeah, that's true. Lugu, that's kind of like a woo, it sort of makes you think of slow moving and how people walk at funerals and stuff.
Greasy, you're a greasy character.
Yeah. Lugubrious.
Yeah, I was gonna Google lugubrious, but then you started talking, and that when I went to Google, which is my homepage, I noticed. Do you guys know that Google has a new logo?
Is it that square one? I think I saw that today too.
Here's the thing: go look at the Google. It's new. I can tell it's new. I can tell because of my bookmarks toolbar. And I also saw something on BuzzFeed just in passing. So the like tiny little like what do you call it? Thumbnail is just a G in all the different colors.
Oh.
But even the Google looks a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But now I can't even remember, what does the Google old logo look like? Old versus new. That's a top hit.
I know the thumbnail used to be the blue square with the white lowercase G in it.
So it's different font. That's the difference.
Yeah. That I noticed because it looks dumb. It's all square and stuff.
The top in the news, Google's new logo is its biggest update in 16 years.
Wow.
This is Google's new logo.
I don't really like it. I liked the old one better. The old one seemed faster. But I'm gonna get used to it, let's be honest.
This website, I'm looking at fastcodesign.com. You will very soon notice that Google has a new logo that's sleeker, brighter, and for the first time animated. And then you probably won't notice it at all. Because I think they're right. You just get used to it in
Yep.
like 3 seconds. Right?
We'll see. We'll let you know next week how we feel about it.
It's a new font, yeah. Just look it up. You know what? You're not even going to notice. And then once you do notice, you're going to be like, oh, wow, it's new. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like they're pulling one over on us. Anyway. There we go. We're back to hate to end the podcast.
Speaking of next week, we should wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, and I was also going to say one, just because I'm getting drunk on Budweiser, another thing I hate is people who are beer snobs who hate on, like, Bud and Bud Light. You know what, guys? Chill out, okay? I get it. You like your fancy beers. You like your Pilsners and your ales and your whatever, IPAs and your hops. But that does not preclude the gloriousness that is a Budweiser after a crappy day. You know? I am enjoying the crap out of this Budweiser, and people who will just turn their noses up and go, what do you have on tap? Budweiser, and will literally wrinkle your nose. You know what? I wrinkle my nose at you. It's still beer, buddy.
You're wrinkling your nose at me, Charlotte. When I see Budweiser on tap, no. What do you have it on tap for?
Will you drink no beer instead of Bud?
No, I'll drink the Bud, yeah. But I'm disappointed.
My point exactly. You know what? Coffee, a good coffee's delicious. But you know what's still coffee? All coffee. It's still coffee. It's still doing its job.
Have you ever had, had really bad coffee? You've traveled?
Not really. The only bad coffee I've ever had is watery coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And
then it just feels like I need to drink so much just to get a buzz off of it. You know, or not even a buzz, but to get caffeinated.
Oh my God.
I begrudge all the liquid that I'm consuming.
I feel like Budweiser on tap is a waste. Just give me a bottle of Budweiser. I know exactly what to expect. But I don't want it, like, part of the getting a pint of beer is, like, enjoying, like, the aromas and the whole experience of getting it down there. And I feel like 20 ounces of Budweiser, like, it's more of it's a utilitarian beer. It's like a Jeep.
Say utility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so fine. That's fine. That's allowed.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here, don't make a stink about it. That's what I think. Like, if you don't want a Bud, that's fine. You know, let's just get your fancy beer and be quiet about it.
Yep. That's what I do,
you know,
except I'm not always quiet about
it. Get your premium $8 beer. Let me drink my Bud, okay?
I had a really good $8 beer the other day. Except I wasn't happy about paying $8 for it. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always.
Sorry we were so angry this week. It's me. It's my fault.
I was going to say, the we isn't really...
The royal we.
Sorry, Charlotte was so...
we'll be happy next week.
Yeah. And it's September. Happy September, everybody.
You know what? We're so far ahead with these recordings now. It will still be September when we post this, but, like, probably just barely.
Just barely.
So, yeah. We're pretty professional these days, is all I'm saying.
No big deal. We said it. We called it. In the fall, we'd be back at it.
Yeah. Right? Right.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.